Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Warrior Way. Yoni is here. Me. I had an interesting day yesterday. I'm so grateful. I was listening to this video early in the day, and it was talking about um, paying attention to the things that you could be grateful for. So, like later in the day, when you notice those things, you can write about it, and you can at the end of the day write about the things you're thankful for. Um, So I started to do that. Of course, last night I didn't write it, even though I started to do it a couple of nights ago, where I was starting to do that even before I listened to that video. And just things sometimes happen out of nowhere. If you're paying attention, sometimes you have to wait an extra minute, and then by waiting an extra minute, something happens. So it's exactly what happened to me yesterday. I was waiting for my daughter to come outside from a certain place. She was with a friend, and she asked me if I could stay because her friend is not yet ready to be picked up by her own family member. So I said, okay, yeah, I'll wait. Even though there was part of me that was like, maybe I didn't want to wait the whole time. But I'm like, for whatever reason, I said, yes, that's my mentality is like, if I'm supposed to wait now, okay, I'm supposed to wait. And I'm waiting, and I got outside my car and I'm waiting, and all of a sudden, this guy I know, an old neighbor of mine, passes by, and I say hello, and the next thing we start talking, and we had an amazing conversation, and he wanted to help me out with something, and I was truly grateful for that moment. It was such a great moment. It was so not expected, unexpected, and just to notice that, like, if you just wait an extra minute, you never know what's going to happen. So that was the first thing that happened in my day, and then later on in the day, I was driving to a place by the water, figuring I had some time of myself. My kids were all out, that I would head down to the water. And I started to head down to this specific area where the water is. And I get there, and there are ambulances and police and a bunch of cars blocking the entrance of this area where the water was. So there was no way for me to get in, and I was grateful that I'm not involved in whatever is going on there. I sent out my peace and love to the people that may have been in an accident or whatever is that's unfolding over there. And then I realized, okay, I'm not supposed to be here, so I left. And as I was driving, I said, you know what? Let me stop. There's a park not so far from where I have to go next, so I'll stop at this park, which I haven't been in this park in a very, very long time. Especially, I don't really go to this park ever at night. I don't think I've ever been there alone at night. But I said, you know what? Okay, I'll go there. And I go to this park, and as I get there, this beautiful thing is being set up in a gazebo where these people are setting up flowers, and it says "Marry Me." Like obviously, it was being set up for someone to get engaged. So I knew I was going to witness someone getting engaged. Such a happy moment, and I was there for about an hour until the actual engagement the two people showed up. It was a really beautiful moment, and I'm finally ready for like real love in my life. So you know, it's like the universe sends you things to give you little hints of like things that like maybe are gonna come to you in the future. So like earlier in the day with the other guy who my neighbor, like it was something regarding peace and helping me with something peaceful, which I really wanted. So I'm really grateful for that aspect. That was one thing in my life, peace. And then the other, this aspect of love and marriage. I don't know if I want marriage, but love, a partner, something that I'm definitely trying to accept because I finally love myself. It took a very, very long time to love myself, love every aspect of myself, and now that means I can bring someone in who loves themselves, and then I could have that partnership. But just to be grateful for these experiences that happen, sometimes these detours, these things that get in our way, we can get frustrated. I used to be someone who would completely like lose it and get frustrated and maybe just shut it down and turn it down and like say, okay, like let's say my daughter asked me to stay longer, I'd be like, no, we have to go now, and then get annoyed and then make her leave and then like get home so quickly to do what. And I realized like a lot of times we're rushing to go do the next activity, but like what are we really rushing for? So most people will say they're rushing for work, like oh, there's like if they don't get there, they're going to lose out on money. But it's not really so true. Like even when I was working, I was a social worker for all those years, and even when I was working with clients, and like I was able to make calls not on a schedule, so I could just call people and like get on the phone and start billing people in a sense. But even then, like if I really thought about it, like, and I was really there, like you're losing the present moment to be helpful to whoever it is, my child in that circumstance, like to give her the time with her friend, a few extra minutes to show that you're not in a rush, that actually the moment is right here and that you never know what's going to happen. Like I ended up bumping into this guy who ended up making me feel so peaceful, even if nothing transpires after that. But it was about, like, again, making peace in the world and peace amongst people. And that conversation was so beautiful for me. I actually sent him a text later saying, like, thank you so much for the conversation. Even if nothing, I didn't say even if nothing happens, but I was thinking, like, even if nothing happens from it, but it was just that conversation of that moment of peace was so beautiful. Like someone who just wanted to have a conversation of being helpful. He actually was also talking to me about setting me up with a potential partner, and I was like, I was, I was like, thank you, yeah. And I was telling him like, yeah, yeah, okay. Instead of pushing people away, I have to learn, like, if people are asking me, I guess I didn't really want to be set up, but nothing will happen necessarily from it just because I say yes or no. So why not open the door for it? And he asked me a lot of questions about my life, and that's how we got into it. And it, instead of shutting him down, I opened it up for further conversation to allow more to come in. I think the hard part is when you're trying to make discernments in certain situations of with certain people, to not always share everything that's going on with you, because not everyone's going to fully understand, but to open up to the things that you actually want. So when, like, for example, I want love, like, to be open when people bring it up about partners or dating or love, that to be open to those experiences now. I think I've turned the corner to open it up now, that if people approach me, and to say thank you for the opportunity and to be grateful and to open myself up to the universe when the universe sends you detours, to allow the detours to happen, because they're not detours. They're ultimately for you to reassess the situation and make another adjustment, because you're not supposed to be at that place, or you're supposed to be at that place for a little longer, or you're not supposed to be at that place and you have to make a little bit of a detour. It's just an amazing thing. It's kind of like it, when I do these videos, right? So um, I didn't. Now I'm doing shorts now, and I didn't plan to do the shorts with my poetry. I'm not going to always do shorts with poetry, but I didn't plan to do that. But it just seemed like fun for me, and I finally wanted to, like, reshare my poetry again. I didn't know if I was going to do it again, and I was excited to do it in that way, where at least here my videos, I can speak my life and speak about what's going on, and in terms of my warrior way of life, like, um just to express, like, where my life is going in terms of, like, it's just a different way of life, like the dream world. That I want to talk about that for a second. Actually, I've been having vivid dreams over the last while, I guess ever since I really got sober from all substances. I got off Once I got off the marijuana, and now that I'm, I guess, nicotine free for a little while, like, I think that all of a sudden now my dreams are becoming more and more and more, and to not push those dreams away, that there's a level of reality going on with them, to learn from them. Sometimes it's bringing up, like, family members, it brings up old friends from the past, um, very interesting things about my life, that I've been learning from. And they're, like I said, none of it's a detour. They're pathways. Every moment is a lesson, is teaching. And when you start to see God in every single step of your way, you don't view it now as an annoyance. Even though you're human, there are going to be things like, I'm not going to be perfect. So there are moments where I'm going to feel a certain way. Like, I watched a video yesterday about some girl was saying that she was, feeling lonely, and she was surrounded by a lot of people in California, and she left California to go away from everybody, just to get her own space, not to be with anybody, but literally leave and just to get her own space. And sometimes when you're on the spiritual path, like, it can feel kind of isolating or lonely, until you get to the place where you're able to really be good with yourself and be good with God, that God is there with you. I was telling my daughter, like, God becomes your best friend, whether you want to call it also the beings, that are not, that you can't see. Then your dreams, like, the reason I brought up dreams is the same idea. Like, your sleep becomes, like, it's not um, like you're wasting time. It's like a beautiful thing. You're getting these downloads in your dreams where you're just sleeping and just appreciating whatever the universe is sending you, whatever angels are sending you, or God is sending you, or your subconscious is sending you these messages, and that you start paying attention to every little detail of your life, that There's not a moment that's wasted. There are no mistakes made. Every single second is an opportunity. And I finally am grateful to like realize that. Like again, I've been realizing that for a while now, but to be able to express that I really feel that way, I'm just grateful. Like I like coming on here and sharing, and sometimes I guess I could be a little bit all over the place. And um, it's it's just being able to share that, hey, like there's a different way of life where you can really enjoy. And the reason I know I've made some significant changes is because even when I lose it for a few or feel that moment, I come back and I don't like when I leave those people or leave the environment, like I'm back into this place, like I really feel good here. And I'm not as reactive as I used to be. Like I still have my moments, but there are obviously, they always say like the real work is with your family. So like with my children, I can have my moments, or with my family members, I can have my moments, or with I guess old friends who are now no longer really in my life anymore. But it's that work is difficult, but at the same time, I work through it and I've gotten better and I've grown, and I could acknowledge that I'm not perfect, but I think with my children, I've gotten so much better. Like over the years, last couple of years for sure, they would acknowledge it. Like my voice level's been down, my reactivity level's been so much down, and I've just been more happy with content with myself and not having to do so much, right? Like I used to have to do a lot. When you have to do a lot, that's when you react because you're reacting to having to do. And when you start pulling back and realizing you really don't have to do so much, you have to do what you want to do in a sense, but you can't really, you don't really have to do a million things. And when you stop having to do so many things, so like, then you're not rushing out of conversations, you're not rushing to not be helpful. You're rushing. You might actually, the only rushing you're doing is now to be helpful towards especially the people that you love, to show them that you're there for them, that you can listen to them, that you can be there for them, you can spend time with them if they want that. Um, but again, all I want is for me, like these conversations to talk about gratitude and seeing things in this way. And when I share certain things about my life, it's really to see like, even though I could see things people are like struggling. Like I was watching someone in the car the other day. My kids were in the car with me, and we were looking at the next car over, and there was a guy yelling at his wife or girlfriend or whoever it was. And I if you notice it, obviously you're noticing it for a reason for your own lessons. Like that was me. That might have been me years ago with my wife, right? Like that would have been me yelling and screaming like that. I mean, I look at him like I can't believe like that was me, but that was me. But now I view it as like have compassion. I feel for him. I feel for her that they're taking this way too seriously, right? It's not that serious. Like we're here for a short period of time, and then we're on to the next world. We're in this physical body for a short period of time, and just to appreciate ourselves, and to even we don't have to hang out with everybody. We don't we you know save our energy for for the people and for ourselves as much as we want. But when we're in those situations, to breathe through it and to remember that I've been there. And I'm grateful that those moments are less and less in my life. And it comes up here like, oh yeah, have I had that moment? A few months ago. Like it does come up every so often where like you lose it, and like you're not perfect. You just keep on coming back and just be grateful, and then start looking at those moments as opportunities. And I'm trying to do that more and more in my life. That they're just opportunities. Like I told the story, they're just opportunities to shift and to get yourself to a new place, to learn, to grow, to become a different kind of person. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps. Hope it shifts your day. Hope you could shift your day into a positive perspective and see things that they're not detours, they're the way. Go through them, allow them to happen, and then you never know what's going to be. You never know how it's going to turn out. Sending my love, and have a great day.